It's okay to be in a reading slump. Hey, what's up y'all? It's Lyric. This video is going to be a little bit different because I wanted to just be completely open and honest and vulnerable with you about why it's really hard for me to make content right now, which I was not expecting because I literally just started my channel. I was so excited and I was full of ideas, and then life just kind of hits you and things happen, and I think that there's this really big expectation of perfectionism in the book community. If you read less than 5 books in a wrap-up, or like if you don't post consistently, then like what are you doing? Or if you don't have the coolest, most original video ideas, like what are you doing? Just the whole booktube community has this big stigma around perfectionism, and it's not just the booktube community. I also see this a lot in like the study community on YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, whatever it is. But just like the communities that I surround myself in online have this big stigma of perfectionism around them. And as somebody who struggles with mental health a lot and has been struggling with mental health a lot in these past 2 weeks, I had my dog die and I went through a breakup within 24 hours. So like obviously I'm not going to be pushing out content or reading books the way I did even a month ago. And so I think I just wanted to make this video to talk about my relationship with the perfectionism that surrounds the book community and kind of what I'm doing to combat it and help my brain just be okay with where I'm at. I think one of the biggest videos that I see going around on booktube, or like one of the biggest comments, is like, oh, like how do you read so much in a month, or how do you read so fast, or how do you get out of a reading slump? And I think what we fail to understand is the fact that like some months are better than others and every month is different, and we shouldn't be forcing ourselves to read X number of books. We should have goals, and I definitely have like reading goals for the year, but also I started off this year with a goal of reading 70 books and I brought it down to 55 because I know that I need to have grace with myself, and if I forced myself to try to read 70 books this year, I would hate reading, and I don't want to hate reading. I want to love reading. I think this pressure that we put on ourselves in the book community to read X number of books, or to put out this specific content, or to never be in a reading slump, is so like toxic, and I just hate it, and I want to just try and erase that as much as possible. It's okay to be in a reading slump. It's okay if your wrap-ups are only 3 books. It's okay to not even post a wrap-up. It's okay if you don't feel like reading a certain day because you just want to lay in bed and sleep and forget the world exists. It's okay to binge read if that's what you need to do to forget the world exists. I just think the expectations that we put on ourselves is so just damaging. And I hate it, and I wanted to just talk about it. I've been in the biggest slump for the past, week and a half to 2 weeks, where I've only read like 1 book, and it took me literally a whole week to read a 160-page book, where normally I could read that in like 2 hours. And I haven't had any ideas for videos to film, and I can go from filming 2 to 3 videos a week and posting 2 videos a week to barely filming anything at all and not knowing, oh, I need to film a video, I need to post a video, but I don't know what to do because I don't have any ideas, because I don't have the energy to sit down and to film and to edit. It's okay if you're in a slump, because I'm in a slump too. And I think this time in our world is so hard. I mean, we've been in this pandemic for a year, and at the beginning of quarantine it was so easy for us to just read all the time and to post content all the time because we had the time to do it because we were in quarantine. But now we've been in quarantine for a whole year, and many of us are doing online school and yada yada yada, and we have to realize that we don't have to put ourselves to the same level of productivity that we were a year ago. We are not the same people we were a year ago. I know I'm certainly not the same person I was a year ago, and I think it's just learning to have grace with yourself and the fact that we're allowed to be fluid in our mental states, and we're allowed to be fluid in our productivity and how much grace we have to offer ourselves from month to month. We need to have so much grace with ourselves because we're going through so much, like as a world. Just life in general is just really hard, and you go through different seasons in life of, You know, good times and good mental health, and bad times and bad mental health, and grief and sheer happiness and love and breakups and whatever it might be. We all go through these phases in life, and then you put a global pandemic on top of it. You put all of these pressures, all these things that you're seeing in the news right now on top of all of it, and it's so easy for us to just feel like the world is against us. And the thought sometimes of opening a book is exhausting. The thought of even having to exist is exhausting. And so the fact that I'm putting pressure on myself to read X many books in a month, the fact that I'm putting pressure on myself to film content that I'm not genuinely excited about is not okay, because I want to do this because I love it. I want to read because I love it, not because I feel like I have to be a part of a community. I love the book community with my whole heart. There's a reason why I joined it. There's a reason why I'm so passionate about it. There's a reason why I'm here doing what I'm doing, making these videos, posting on Instagram, yada yada yada. But I think the biggest problem that we have as a book community is this pressure that we all just kind of collectively put on ourselves, and I think it needs to be talked about more. Simply put, I think we need to talk about this pressure that we put on ourselves to be perfect, and this perfectionism standard that we have in the book community, because it's toxic for so many people, and that's the reason why so many people struggle to put out videos, and why so many people struggle to read, and why we're all obsessed with this idea of getting out of reading slumps. It's to the point where I'm noticing that it's toxic, and I don't want it to be toxic. I don't want this community that I love so much to be toxic. And so in order to combat this, I think we need to talk about this problem that we have in our community and face it head on. If you're struggling like I am right now with reading or with putting out content, if you're even a content creator, or even just in life and like doing your assignments, because I know that this semester is really hard for a lot of people, myself included. If you're struggling right now, I want you to know that you are totally valid and that it is totally normal, and I want you to have so much grace with yourself. And if you need to take a break from reading, take a break from reading. I think the best way to get out of a reading slump is to be in that reading slump. Don't force your way through a reading slump. Don't force yourself to read a book that you don't want to read, because you're just not going to love it, and it's going to make you hate it, and it's going to make you keep putting it off for even longer. So if you feel yourself going into a reading slump, do what I did and take a break from it for a couple days or a week or however long you need to. If it's a month, if it's a couple months, if it's a year, do what you need to do for you. Books should be a safe place and an escape, not something that you feel like you're forced to read. And in us trying to force our way through these reading slumps, you're just forcing yourself to do something that you should be wanting to do and that you should be enjoying. And so if you're in a reading slump, take a break from reading. If you're in a creative mind slump, take a break from creating for a little bit, or channel your creativity into other outlets. You know, I think we need to all collectively realize that it's okay to take a break. Taking breaks is healthy, taking breaks is normal, and for a lot of us, it's the safest thing that we could ever do, and it's the best thing we could ever do for ourselves. And so I know my content throughout the next few weeks might be changing a little bit because I am going through this reading slump / creative slump, and so I want to just be as real and authentic and genuine with you guys as possible. And I have a lot of ideas for ways that I can channel my creativity in other ways through this little slump that I'm in, and I'll be getting back to my normal videos soon. Like, I feel like I'm coming out on the other end of this slump, but I just wanted to talk about this pressure that I'm feeling as being a new member of the book community. And I can't even talk for people who've been a part of this book community for years because I'm just a newbie. I just feel like as somebody who is trying to find their place in this community, it's something that really needs to be talked about. I hope you all know that if any of you are feeling the same way that I am feeling, whether you're just struggling mentally or with the book community or with creativity, whatever it might be, if you're struggling and in a rut or burnt out in any way, my DMs are open, my comments are open and a safe space. I will literally respond to and talk to anybody who wants to talk about this, because I feel like this is a topic that needs to be talked about more openly in this community. I hope you all know how loved you are and how much I appreciate the fact that you are here watching this video, watching my channel. It really means so much to me, especially in this reading slump place. So thank you so much for watching me and watching this video and supporting me in my videos, and I'll see you guys soon, I hope.